My name is Spiritualist West, reaching you live and direct from the heart of Africa. If this is your first time watching me, you are highly welcome. This is the place where I separate the facts from the fiction, the science from the superstitions, and the concepts from the misconceptions about African spirituality. Today, I'll be talking about proper burials in Africa, how to send forth your loved one, and what is a proper burial, and how or what are the dangers of burying a spiritual or traditional person as a Christian or in a Christian cemetery. These are the things that we need to discuss today. In ancient African communities, societies, a burial ceremony is a very serious matter, is a big deal. The burial of a person is regarded just like the birth of the person. When a child is born into this world, the child always comes with happiness, joy, and a ceremony which will involve a lot of people coming to greet the child, to welcome the child into this world with gifts, and to christen the child according to Christians, or to give the child a name, a naming ceremony, whereby that we call the child a certain name, or that we actually do some rites to check the destiny or the purpose of the child, to see what the child will become or fulfill in this life, and all these ceremonies to welcome the newborn baby. When a person also dies too, there is a need for proper burial to send forth the person out of this world. So when we say proper burial in Africa, it is a personalized issue. If we define the word a proper burial, what does it mean? It is simply the act of placing a dead person in the grave with the accompanying ceremonies and any kind of burial rituals which involve saying litany of words of praise to the person, or saying some nice words, or recounting the history and accomplishment of the person, and wishing them well in the afterlife. And this involves a lot of ceremonies. In ancient Africa, it is a very big deal, a burial ceremony. We have the traditional burials, whereby we have regular burials. We also have royal burials, whereby we see this example of this is the Kemetic burials in ancient Egypt, how the kings were buried. They were buried with a lot of articles and items, and even some other human beings killed to escort them to the afterlife, so that we have everything they need, because they believe that they will live forever there. So burial ceremonies is a serious deal in Africa. In modern day Africa, it is still a very big deal. Okay, the way somebody is buried shows a lot to show how people feel or think about this person, and how they regard this person. And it is a very special ceremony. And we have what they call proper burials in African traditional societies. Proper burials are burials whereby the person is buried according to the full traditional rites and customs of that community. And this is just a general definition, but there is also deeper definition of a proper burial. A proper burial is when the person is buried according to his or her own wishes. This is what we regard as a proper burial. There are some people that may not want a big funeral when they die. There are some people that want a private, quiet affair. They don't want a lot of people there, and this is their wish. There are some people that wish to be cremated. They don't want to be buried. It's their wish that they'll be burnt, their corpse will be burnt, and the ashes scattered all over the place, or all over the sea. For them, this is a proper burial. Okay, there are some people that want a big burial. They want everybody to be in attendance. There are some people that have special request burials. They want to be buried in a car, or they want to be buried standing up or sitting down. For them, this is a proper burial, because this burial reflects their wish, their dying wish or their dream to be buried in this kind of way. There are some people that want to be buried in a closed casket. Some people want to be buried in an open casket. Some people want to be they want to have a ceremony of lying in state. Some people don't want this. Everybody have their own wish. So a proper burial in African spirituality can be defined as a burial whereby the wish or desire of the person being buried is done, is achieved. This is what we can say to be a proper burial. Okay, because everybody have their own characteristics or personality or what they want in life. For most spiritualists, people that practice African spirituality, their kind of proper burial is to be buried in a spiritual way or in a traditional way, whereby their corpse will be given the full rights of a traditionalist or a spiritualist. Most hardcore spiritualists, their wish is not to be buried as a Christian. They don't want to be buried in a Christian cemetery. They don't want to be buried, especially in a church. Like the way most Christians, their wish is to be buried in a church. They believe that if you bury them in a church cemetery, they will go to heaven quickly. They will always be with their saints, brothers and sisters, and that is where they want to be their final resting place. So this is where most Christians want to be buried in. But traditionalists, they wish to be buried in a traditional way. Now in Africa, we don't have the concept of like this cemetery whereby there's a particular place where all the dead are buried. In our traditional African settings, we live with our dead. The dead are buried among the living. People that die, they are usually buried in their family compound. Okay, the corpses are buried there. The children see them, the family people, they see them every day. They believe that the dead is part of the living. This is the way we still bury in Africa till today. If somebody dies, what they do is to take them to their village to go and bury them there, the place, their hometown, where they come from. This is the traditional way we bury. Even the so-called Christians, many of them, they still bury them this way. For cemetery, people that are usually buried in the cemetery in Nigeria are people that they don't have very close ties in with their family, or they wish to be buried in a cemetery, or their children, for whatever reason, don't want to bury them in their hometown, and they consider these people lost because the cemetery is full of strangers, strange corpses of different kind of people just sandwiched together. So many people don't wish to be buried there. In fact, people frown when somebody is buried in a cemetery in a place like Nigeria. It shows that you don't have a home. You don't have a home, or you are lost. You don't know your home anymore. These are the kind of people that are usually buried in a cemetery. People that died, that they don't have children. Maybe a young man, woman that died, teenager, or an adult man that did not get married, did not have a child. When these kind of people die, they say no need to go and bury them in villages. Like they came to this life alone as a stranger. They assume that you are a stranger because you did not have a child. So you should be buried in the cemetery so that people can easily forget about you. So these are the type of people that they buried in cemetery. People that do not have children in Africa, especially in Nigeria, or people don't have close family ties, or people that don't kind of remember their home, or maybe due to long distances, they cannot bring the corpse back to the village. They will just bury them in a cemetery. For instance, we have people like, we have some people from Delta State, Nigeria. They lived in Lagos all their life, or they live in Abuja all their life. When they die, they just bury them in Abuja cemetery or in Lagos cemetery. The children or the people around them never bother to take them back home. We also have some people that have traveled abroad, spent a lot of time in abroad, they died there, and the cost of bringing the corpse back to Nigeria is just too expensive, too exorbitant. So what they will do is that they will just say they should bury them in abroad, since they spend all their life there, spend a lot of time there. They should be buried in a cemetery in that country. In this case, what they will do, they will request that some portion of their hair be cut and their fingernails be cut and sent back to Africa to be buried in a place in Africa while the main body will remain buried abroad, so that maybe some portion of their soul will still be in Africa. They do this sometimes for people. I have had some relatives that have died in abroad, and they bury them there. They bring back fingernails and hair to come and bury in Nigeria. I don't know why they'll do this, but this is the way they do it. So we have this situation. So when we say proper burial, a proper burial is a burial that involves the person being buried according to their wish or their dream. In African spirituality, this is a proper burial. Everybody have their wishes. My way of burial, the way I want to be buried, is totally different from yours. So maybe if I cross over tomorrow and then there's somebody else go and buried me the way I don't want to be buried, that is a big problem. What happens during this kind of thing when somebody is buried the way they don't want or they are not happy? It can bring curses on the family members that buried them. This is way whereby somebody can bring curses upon himself without knowing, by not respecting the final wishes of the person being buried. If the person say, I am not a Christian, I am a traditionalist, give me a traditional burial, then when he died, the children say they don't care, that is too expensive, or they don't want to do it, or they believe that the dead have no power anymore. You go and give the person a Christian burial and bury the person in a cemetery. What may happen is that these spirits can decide to start haunting that place and haunting the people that are responsible for making this mistake. So this kind of action can bring curses upon the children or the people responsible for burying them against their wishes. This is a very, very serious issue. That's why people always respect the wishes of the dead. If somebody say, I want to be buried this way, this is the way I want to be buried when I die, it is in your best interest to try your best to fulfill that wish. After all, you are going to do it only once. You are not going to do it every day. If somebody say, I don't want to be buried in a cemetery, or I don't want a Christian burial, please follow the wishes of that person. It is advisable to do this, because if you don't do it, there are some spirits that are very, very active, and some spirits are very harsh. And they might come after you and start haunting you. You will not know where your problem is coming from. You'll be having hardship, hard luck, bad life. All this will be attributed to you have offended somebody. Somebody you are not supposed to offend because you refuse to respect their last wish, and they entrust this wish to you. Most times we have this kind of issues in Africa where parents will say, oh, bury me this way. Immediately they die, the children will go and do something else. They will not respect that wish. That person have his reason for wanting to be buried that way. People have made many reasons for taking actions, but they will not tell you why, but they just tell you, do this. If you respect that person, you have to do it the way they tell you to do it, especially if it will not cost you too much. Respect the wish. You don't know why the person wants this thing to be done this way. If you go and do something else, you might invite problem and curses upon you. There are many cases where people will tell their family members, this is what I want after the burial, or share the property this way, bury me this way. Once they die, the family will do opposite of what they told them. They will steal properties, they will not respect their final wishes, and they expect to be happy. If that spirit is an active spirit, what do you think will happen? It will go after them, and it will make life very, very unpleasant or miserable for them. So if you don't want curses from angry spirits, it is better to just do what the person say when they die and live a free life. Most times we have these cases in Africa whereby they will have some parents will die, and the children will bury them very improperly. I have witnessed this, where they will just put the person on the ground without any ceremony. This is an improper burial. Then they will say that they are coming to do a proper burial later. I have had case with some close family members whereby their mother, their father died. They didn't do a proper burial due to the fact that they're claiming they don't have money. They just dig ground and put the body there, even without a coffin, and then they leave everything till today. They have not still done the ceremony. They have not even built a gravestone. Nothing like that. They just bury the person like a goat or a ram. Very, very indecent, disrespectful way of burying somebody. And then you expect happiness or progress to come to your life. It will not be well with you because you didn't give your parents a proper burial. So it will most likely be that your children too will not give you a proper burial. It will become a curse. A burial is supposed to be like a blessing. You're supposed to honor the dead by showing them the last respects. The last respect you can give to somebody you love, somebody you claim to be your family member, your loved one, is to give them the final dignity of a decent burial. The kind of burial that people will say, yes, you try, you did your best, at least you honor the person. Do it the way the person wants you to do it, or do it the way people are doing it. But you see some people, due to lack of money or greed, they will not want to spend money to bury the person because they don't really care about the person. So they will bury the person indecently, and they will still be expecting to live a good life. So if that spirit is an active spirit, what will happen is that we start hunting those people that are responsible for disrespecting them. They will bring curses on that family, and the curse will affect the children. There are also cases whereby somebody will be suffering all their life. They will be suffering of hunger, malnutrition, or lack of care, concern, and this person will be totally neglected, and then we have rich children, of course, and then they will die. Then the next thing, you will see the children coming to spend a lot of money in the burial, doing a very expensive burial, spending hundreds of millions, burying somebody in a very expensive casket, and this is somebody that died of hunger. But in death, they are showing all this money to kind of prove that they love the person. This is a fake love. In that case, the spirit can also get offended too and start cursing them. So, oh, you have all this money, you didn't take care of me when I was alive. Now you are trying to show the world that you care. That kind of burial can also become a curse as well. If the spirit is active, you might decide to go after those people. You didn't take care of me when I was alive. Now that I am dead, I died of hunger, you are now spending all this money. We see that a lot in Africa, especially in Nigeria. People that did not take care of their father and mother when they were alive. When these people died of suffering, you will see them start doing expensive burials, carrying undertakers or canopies, printing posters, spending millions on the burial. But yet, the person you are burying, you didn't take care of them. They had died of hunger. They were not eating. They have nothing. You neglected them all through their life. But now you are spending millions to bury them. This can also bring curses upon you too, because you didn't do the right thing. Okay? The spirit will not be happy, of course, quite naturally. So we see all these cases in Africa. So for most African people, especially people that practice African spirituality, most times they already know how they want to die, and they say it. They will tell you, I wish to be buried this way when I die. They tell the children. We have people like that. For us in African spirituality, most of us have already made peace with death. We already know how we want to be buried. And we say it. The person will tell you, if I die, bury me here, bury me like this. This is how I want to be buried. And you have to honor that wish if you want peace to reign. If you go and do something else, you can invite curses and problems upon you, because that person, instead of protecting you when they are dead, they will now fix all their anger on you. Instead of attacking your enemies and protecting you, they will now start attacking you for disrespecting them and not granting them their last wishes. So you will have problems if you don't do it the way you do not honor them, or you don't respect them. So most spiritualists, and when somebody dies, There are two things that matters to the dead. The first is the place that they die, the last place that their soul left the body. That place is like a portal whereby they can come into this world. And the final place that they are buried, where their body rests, their final resting place, the cemetery or the grave, that is also another gateway for them to come into this physical world. So those two places are very, very important. The place that they died and the place that they are buried. So you might want to make sure that you bury them in a very good place according to their own wish. For we in Africa here, we are usually buried in our village, our family compounds, and not necessarily in a cemetery, but people in abroad, living in abroad, America, they are buried in a cemetery. Most people are rarely buried at home. So there are all kinds of spirits in the cemetery, of course. It is the home of different kinds of spirits, just like the spirit world, of course. So when a person is buried in a Christian cemetery, they may not be happy, but what can they do? They will do their best. Some people will move on, some people will not move on, and they will start haunting the place. And of course, there will be activities there, interactions, and all kinds of things will be happening. Same way people interact in real life, you will expect those kind of interactions for the dead. So the final resting place should be regarded as their home and should be seen like that. So it is important for you to honor the wish of anybody that wants to die. When they die, bury them the way they wish to be buried. Do not do something else to avoid curses or the wrath of that person. Please, I'm telling you this, just follow their wish. If they say, bury me like this, bury me within 24 hours, bury me after 7 months. There are some cases like that. I watched a movie whereby the man gave instructions that if he died, they should not bury him for 1 year due to the fact that he did some things in his lifetime. And if the family bury him before 1 year, then themselves will die. So he left instructions down that this is the way I want to be buried. And that was what happened. So respect people's final wish. Okay? Respect final wish. It is very, very important. For me, that is a proper burial. It's not spending too much money. It is not showing of self. It is the proper burial is the respect of the final wish of whoever have died. For me, that is a proper burial. If the person say cremate me, do it for them, it is a proper burial. If the person say bury me in a cemetery or don't bury me in a cemetery, it is a proper burial. As far as you are honoring the final wishes of that person, that is a proper burial. This is my own definition of a proper burial. Okay, so I think I have said enough on this topic. Questions or comments are welcome. Please like and share this video. I will also like to know your opinions because this topic was given to me by somebody, and I was worried. We have seen many cases of African spiritualists that are buried, giving Christian burials where they die. And these are people that are staunch, they don't like Christianity during their lifetime. There are people like me that are opponents of Christianity that don't want anything to do with the religion. So you going to bury them as a Christian is like you are not honoring the religion. Instead of focusing on the dead person, you are like giving credence or using their burial to promote the religion, and then we hate this thing. Me personally, I will hate that kind of thing. So what do you think I will do to people that make that kind of mistake? For me, I will treat them as enemies, disrespectful people, disrespectful children. They need to be taught a lesson, and things will happen to them. So people should be careful how they deal with the wishes of dead people. Some people are very, very active, and some people are just like passive. So if you go and make mistake to bury the wrong person in the wrong way, you're going to get whatever is coming to you. It's just like that. So this is something that is important to avoid unnecessary problems, unnecessary causes in your life. So please, whether you're a Christian or Muslim or traditionalist, respect the wishes of people that are around you. Do their final wishes. Whatever they say you should do when they die, do that thing to avoid causes or unnecessary problem. This is the best way out of this situation. So with this, I rest my case, and I thank you very much for watching me today. I would like to know your opinions once again. And of course, if you have not gotten my book, you need to get the book. This one, Whispers of Amente, Pathways to Ascension, for people that want to make contact with our African deities, or the Kemetic deities, especially the deities of death and transformation. You get them here. Ampu is here. Santisma Morite is here. Two powerful deities of deaths. As an African spiritualist, you need to prepare for your deaths while you are alive. Okay? For death is the path to life. So it's not something you'll be afraid of. So the deities of death are spirits you cannot ignore. Okay? We see the cemetery or the place of the ancestors as the most holy place, because that is where we come from, and that is where we are going back to. When you make peace with these deities, you are not afraid to die. You are living, and when you live, you're preparing every day for your final day. So your life will be full of activities, and you will have a sense of purpose. Every waking day, you must accomplish something. You must be grateful, of course, and it will increase your productivity, your efficiency, and your happiness. You don't need to waste this lifetime. So get acquainted with these deities. Okay, so you not be afraid of death. We worship death in African spirituality. The spirit we deal with, our late African ancestors, they are not our enemies. Okay, so this is important. You cannot run away from this principle. The sooner you embrace it, the happier you are. So this book will give you guidelines of how to understand this principle of death and transformation and resurrection, reincarnation, all these cycles, all these things. It will give you understanding, and it will bring it to your subconscious. So it's a very good book for you. It will remove fear from your mind. Okay, it will take away fear. Most people in religion are ruled by fear. Christians, they fear so much. Christians are the ones that are always talking about heaven, but they are the ones that are afraid to die. They don't want to die. You say your father have mansion of gold. Why don't you just die and go there? But you're afraid. Any little thing, they have been to the hospital. Any little thing, devil, they're always seeing devil and demons. We here, we don't see any devil, we don't see any demon. We only see reality, and we deal with reality. We know that nobody is coming here to save us. We know that we are here to make this world a better place. We know that if we don't work, we will not eat. We know that our life will give us what we give it. So we put our hard work every day to make this world a better place. So we are not afraid to die in African spirituality. We have dug our grave a long time ago, and we have made peace with death. So there's nothing else can happen to us. Okay, it's just a transition. It's not a final place. So our thinking is different. If I die, I already know where I want to be buried. I already know how I want to be buried. I've already given instructions where I will be buried. So I've already made peace with death. Okay, this is how you're supposed to live your life. This is how people are supposed to live their life. A good understanding. You live it well. It's not how far, it's how well. Okay, that is how we will live in African spirituality. How well, what impact did you make in your lifetime? What did you contribute? How did you make this world a better place? How did you add value to the world? This is the way we reason here. We don't wait for people to save us. We don't wait for miracle helper. We don't pray. We talk to God. Okay, we are also gods. This is the way we see things here. So we are very practical in our approach to issues. This one is walking in the shadow of the gods quite naturally. If you want to know how to walk in the footsteps of your African ancestors, how they were able to solve problems with the knowledge of herbs, of spells, of different combination of different compounds and formulas, this is a traditional remedy book. It's a spell book. Over 200 of them is here. It will help you very well. If you have not gotten your copy, please get your copy. This book will not only benefit you, but your future generations, your future generations, they need this knowledge. They need to expand on it. They need to have it with them. It is better to be a warrior in a garden than to be a gardener in a war. Okay. Then this one, quantum physics. If you want to know about the direct interrelationship between science and spirituality, this book will help you. It covers all those topics, from space travel to time travel to quantum physics, the nature of reality, composition of matter, melanin, dark matter consciousness, 666 Conundrum, Origin of Religion, Gargut, God Almighty, Unified Theory. All those powerful topics, I squeezed all of them here for you. So you have this book. It's a gateway into the past, present, and future. It will help you open your eyes to the things that the Western world are hiding from you, the things that your church is hiding from you, the things that secret societies are hiding from you. Everything I was able to codify, stratify, and bring out in this book. So please get this book. The three of them is just $300, postage included, and you have this body of knowledge. You can expand on it, work on it, and apply it to real life applications to bring real life results into your life. So this is what we do here. We traffic knowledge here. Okay? We dwell on knowledge. This is the river of knowledge. We swim it, we drink it, we piss it here. So get your books. If you also want to learn African spirituality, I teach it. I have a 6-month program from the history to the sciences to the metaphysics and to making contact with the deities by yourself. You don't need a middleman. You only need a person that will point you in that direction. And that is why I am here. That is why this channel is here. Okay? So I thank you very much. As we grow together, we become strong. We need to unify, expand our body of knowledge, and take our destiny into our own hands. So with that, I thank you very much. If you also want to buy your spiritual items, I sell from meditation beads to oracle stones to herbs to different kind of ointments, spiritual ointments. I have lots of things. You can contact me if you want to do your oracle tarot readings. I do that. If you have cases of serious illnesses, problems that defy regular solutions, you can also contact me. I charge you. I don't do charity work before you come and inundate me. I charge money, not be free. Okay, you need to understand. African spirituality must survive. So please do not come with empty handed. If you come with empty hand, you go back empty handed. And so it just be. So I thank you very much for watching today. And of course, I'll be seeing you in the subsequent videos as usual. So take care and bye. Peace.